This technique is against the right cross wrist grab. As the opponent grabs my wrist, I want to fuse my elbow to my body and cut through his center line. This is canceling his width and his depth. At this point, I cancel his height, nailing him to the ground, making sure that he puts that hand down, very similar to a table leg. So if that was a table leg, we have 1, 2, 3 table legs, and the 4th table leg isn't there. So this is now the weak point of the table. I'm then going to pull him in and strike him in the face. And if he turns his face away to avoid the strike, it doesn't matter. The follow-up to it is going to claw his face, and at this point I get a good break on the elbow. If he's trying to get back up into the fight, this checks him down, keeping him from getting up. As I take the pressure off the shoulder, he goes to raise up, runs into the elbow, and colliding forces on the elbow. I then strike his head as I wrench up on the elbow here, putting pressure on that broken limb, knee, and then reinforce the break on the arm. And then to cover out. Come on back up, James. The main thing on this, when you're doing it, you want to make sure you get a good plus right on that elbow joint. That's how you're going to be able to nail him right to the ground. Come on back up. So one more time as he goes to grab. Thank you. This technique is against the left push. As he's pushing with the left hand, I'm stepping off and I'm raking the kidney area. When I rake the kidney area, I want to be hitting with a point of contact right across that, getting rotational torque on that middle knuckle on the kidney. As he pushes, I want to zone off so I protect my center line. Once the rake hits, I want to use opposing forces, so I pull as I back fist. And then I'm going to strike that elbow as I check it and deliver a looping down roundhouse to the back of his leg. Let's take that from a different angle. So once again, as he does his left push, I rake, back knuckle, check, and deliver my kick. One more time. Right. Back up. Thank you. This one, the guy's shooting a left at us. That's a roundhouse punch or hook. Could be against a roundhouse or a hook, depending on the range of the opponent. When we step back, we want to create distance as he's shooting his punch. And when you're fighting someone, some people like to look into the eyes of the opponent. I recommend you look at their center line. This way you can cover all 4 of their limbs. You can also, if you need to look into their face to try and read their facial movements, you can do that also. As he's shooting the punch, we're stepping back and we're striking right at the radial nerve. I want to get on my opponent's nerves immediately and deaden that hand. Once I deaden the hand, this hand's going to strike right across the temple, eye socket, and bridge of the nose. At this point, I'm ready to dip my elbow, and I'm going to dip right toward his solar plexus and shoot my left hand right at his eyes. And then I'm going to cover out to a zone of sanctuary. Cut. Our opponent's shooting a left at us, a roundhouse or a hooking punch. It could be either or depending upon the range of the opponent. As the opponent shoots the punch, we want to create distance and strike right on his wrist, getting on his nerve. So I'm striking at that radial nerve. Once again, shoot the punch. As I take out that limb, I want to strike across the face and then shoot into the elbow and the eye poke. And cover out to a zone of sanctuary. Come back up, James. Let's take it from a different angle. Once again, as he shoots his punch, boom, boom, covered. And one more time. Nobody ever shoots just a left. After that left is always coming that right. So as he shoots his left, here comes the right, boom, pop, and out we go. Thank you. Come on back up. Great. In this technique, your opponent is grabbing you around the waist with a front bear hug. And as he grabs, I want to trap his hand and I want to strike from a zone of obscurity, meaning from an area where he can't see it coming from. He's not going to see this striking him in the temple area. He'll be very displeased. This arm is secured to your body and fused by your elbow, by your rib cage, so he can't pull his arm out. At this point, we're going to grab the front of his eye sockets and I'm going to anchor the elbow back to his spine, bringing him back down to his knee, and I'm keeping this arm still secured so he can't use it. At this point, I'm going to make his right hand busy as I strike his throat. And then I'm going to cat back, clawing his face, keeping that zone of obscurity so he can't see. If he needs to fight, I can always stomp. Come on back up, James. Once again, he grabs, strikes, brings him back, and claws. Thank you. This is a very dangerous technique. You got yourself in a bad position. You're at a hammerlock, and the person is coming from your zone of obscurity, and he's at the manipulation stage, meaning he's at a point where he can wrestle. So he has my arm behind my back, and he's jamming it up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to strike right into his face to move his head so he can't see, and then I'm going to keep this hand busy as I claw his face and come right around, attempting to get a good break on that arm right there. I want to capitalize on that break, nailing his head to the ground. I'm going to heel palm him right in the ear, pull his face into that knee, and then get rid of him and cover out. One more time, please. Go back to elbow, keep him busy, break, bring him down, knee, get rid of him, and cover. Pull back up. Elbow, keep him busy, break, put him down, knee, get rid of him. Thank you. This one, the guy's grabbing you from the zone of obscurity, and again, he's at the manipulation stage, probably going to pull you into that punch. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trap this hand as he pulls me back. I'm going to elbow to the solar plexus, hammer fist to the groin, claw and elbow to the chin, and then cover out to your zone of sanctuary. Come back up, James. Let's do that again. So I also want to borrow his force, and I want to make sure I step to his center line as he pulls. Cover. One more time. Keep the angle. So he pulls, elbow, hammer fist, elbow to the chin, and then get rid of that arm if it's still there. Go back up. Let's take it a little bit faster. Thank you. This could be either for a left step-through punch or a left jab. As he's shooting his punch, I just want to get out of the way and deliver my back fist. And my hands are making this type of reversing motion as I do it. The whole idea, though, as he shoots his punch, I'm moving my back foot, so I'm moving out of the way and then delivering my back fist. And I'm going to take his leg as I cover. Once again, left side out. I like working the technique off of the jab, and as he shoots the punch, I like to hit the guy right in the face. As he's going to grab his face, I don't let him. And then I deliver my back fist, strike, and cover. If you weren't able to pick it up on the lead hand, go back up, James. If I wasn't able to pick it up on the lead hand, then my back fist would actually be my stopper then. Come back up. Let's take it one more time. He shoots his punch. Thank you. Good. This one's against a front bear hug where your arms are actually trapped at your side. You're going to strike with your thumbs. You want to make sure your finger is supporting your thumb when you do it. And it looks like the shape of prongs in the middle. So as he grabs, I tuck my head also right off the bat. And as I drop, my prongs shoot from underneath. My elbow breaks the grip, and I clear and anchor down the elbow, keeping him from being able to bring his legs up or headbutt me or punch me. Then I'm going to deliver my knee, side kick out his leg, and inward elbow, and cover out to a zone of sanctuary. Once again. He grabs, I tuck my head, strike, knee, side kick, inward elbow, and cover out. One more time. He grabs, I drop, I shoot my prongs, knee, side kick, inward elbow, cover out. Now Now this technique is against what I call a seasoned fighter. This person has you in a manipulation hold. In other words, he's bending your wrist back. Your wrist is here. His whole goal is just to nail you down to the ground so he can control you. So the very first thing, I always remember Mr. Parker saying, the second you touch the guy, he should feel pain. So he has my hands, so I want to strike his hands immediately so he feels pain. As I do that, I strike him into the chin, causing that zone of obscurity. I then claw his face and his hands, bringing his hands down into the sandwich. Then I'm going to elbow the solar plexus and strike the groin and cover out. One more time. Let's take it a little bit faster. And back up. And this one, the guy's grabbing my shoulder from a zone of obscurity. He's going to push me forward, and then he's going to pull me into the punch. At this point, I'm going to borrow all that motion. The very first thing I did was I solidified my base. I obscured my hand sword, and then I'm going to let my hand sword run obscure to his body, striking into the throat, lifting his head. If this hand's still trapped, I can clear it. He might be pulling it. If he's pulling his hand toward his throat, I don't want you to let him grab his throat, so I want you to check that hand, keep his face checked, deliver your kick to his groin, and cover out. One more time, please. So once again, as he grabs, he pushes forward, strike, kick, and cover. Thank you, James. This particular technique, some people do it from a standing position where you step back and you block the uppercut punch. The guy's trying to hit you with an uppercut. I like to practice this one already in a fighting stance, and my opponent's already in a fighting stance. And he's moving in, trying to shoot the uppercut on you. A lot of guys will do that because you don't see it. It's coming from here and you're looking here. So as the uppercut's shot, I'm going to block the uppercut with a claw, getting my leg check. As I got my leg check, it also helped to bring his head forward, and the frictional pull as I tear down the arm draws him into the back fist. Then I'm covering out to a zone of sanctuary. One more time. As this uppercut is shot at me, I create distance clawing with the back knuckle, and then cover out. One more time, James. Let's take it a little bit faster. He shoots the uppercut, and covers. Thank you. This is for a low rear bear hug around the waist. As he grabs, I'm going to step out, dropping my height so I sit right on his thigh. Try to make his elbows, make his hands break his grip. I trap the hands, keeping his hands trapped. I'm ready to stomp the foot if I need to go to a previous technique. I slip around his leg to his third point. I'm borrowing his force of him freeing his hands. If he's pushing forward, then he'll get colliding forces on the elbow. Pushing forward gets him colliding forces. Pulling, I borrow the force. I check his height, and then I nail him to the ground. And then I cover out to a zone of sanctuary. Let's take it from a different angle. Once again, he grabs, deliver my elbows, slip around the leg, and put him down. One more time. As he grabs, I want to make sure I also strike him with my head. So it's good to use your head when you're grabbed in this position. Your arms come out, you strike his elbows, slip around that leg, elbow, and put him down. Let's take it a little bit faster.